girl in the window. I don't tell this story often. Most people don't believe me, and honestly, I've stopped caring whether they do or not. But sometimes, late at night when I can't sleep, I still see her standing there, and I know she saw me too. This happened about 6 years ago when I was working as a security guard for a property management company in Northern California. It wasn't glamorous work. Mostly I just did overnight rounds at foreclosed houses and abandoned buildings, making sure squatters hadn't moved in or kids hadn't broken windows. Easy money for someone who didn't mind being alone in the dark. The property that changed everything was an old elementary school on the east side of town, Roosevelt Elementary. It had closed down in 2009 after budget cuts hit the district hard, and it had been sitting empty ever since. The building wasn't particularly old, maybe built in the 70s, but 7 years of neglect had turned it into something that felt ancient. Overgrown playground, cracked asphalt, windows like dead eyes. I'd driven past it 100 times during the day and never thought twice about it, but the first time I pulled up at 1 in the morning for my initial walkthrough, something in my stomach tightened. The compound was surrounded by a chain-link fence, partially collapsed in places. I had the keys to the main gate and the front entrance. My job was simple: unlock the gate, drive in, park by the main doors, walk the perimeter, check inside if possible, take photos, leave. 30 minutes tops. I remember the silence that night. No cars on the road, no wind, just the hum of my flashlight and the crunch of my boots on broken glass in the parking lot. The front doors were glass and metal, the kind you'd see at any school. Through them, I could see the main hallway stretching into darkness. Old bulletin boards still on the walls, a faded banner that said, "Dream Big." Someone had left a rolling cart in the middle of the hall, probably forgotten the day they closed the school. I unlocked the door. It opened with a long, low creak. The smell hit me first. Mildew, old paper, something faintly sweet and rotten. I stepped inside, my flashlight cutting through the dark. My footsteps echoed too loud. The hallway seemed longer than it should be. The first few rooms were classrooms, their doors open or missing entirely. Tiny desks and chairs still arranged in rows, maps curling off the walls, a chalkboard with math problems still written on it, the handwriting looped and cheerful. Miss Peterson's class was here, I thought. She loved her students. She drew smiley faces next to their names. I don't know why I thought that. The name just came to me. I checked the classrooms one by one, sweeping my light across each space. Dust hung thick in the air. Everything was still. Then I reached the hallway that led to the gymnasium. I don't know how to describe what I felt. It was like walking toward a held breath. The air pressure changed. My ears popped softly. And even though I couldn't see anything wrong, every instinct I had started screaming at me to turn around. But I didn't. I had a job to do. The gym doors were propped open. Inside, the space was cavernous, the ceiling lost in shadow. Basketball hoops hung crooked. The floor was warped and stained. I stepped inside, and my flashlight beam seemed weaker somehow, like the darkness was thicker here. That's when I heard it. A small sound, rhythmic, somewhere above me. Creak, creak, creak. I pointed my flashlight up at the ceiling. There were metal rafters up there, and hanging from one of them was an old rope, probably left over from a climbing activity. It swayed gently, back and forth. There was no breeze. I left the gym faster than I'd like to admit, told myself it was just the building settling, air currents I couldn't feel. Old places do weird things. I finished my sweep, took my photos, got back in my truck, and locked the gate behind me. But I kept seeing that rope swaying in perfectly still air. I had to go back 3 more times over the next 2 weeks. Each time felt worse than the last. The second visit, I found a child's shoe in the hallway. Just one, small, pink,
with cartoon characters on it. It was sitting in the middle of the floor in a section I'd already checked. I would have seen it before. The third time, I heard footsteps on the second floor while I was downstairs. Light, quick, the kind a child would make running from classroom to classroom. I called out. Protocol said I should, but my voice just died in the air. The footsteps stopped. I checked upstairs, found nothing. But in one of the classrooms, someone had drawn on the chalkboard a stick figure, a little girl with long hair and a triangle dress. Next to her, in shaky letters, "Help me." The handwriting was too low on the board, a child's height. I took a photo. My hands were shaking. The fourth time I went to Roosevelt Elementary, I almost didn't go inside. I sat in my truck for 10 minutes, staring at the building. It looked different that night, more hostile. The windows seemed darker, even though there was a full moon. I could feel the weight of the place pressing against my chest, even from the parking lot. But I needed this job. Rent was due. I couldn't afford to be the guy who got spooked and quit. So I went in. The building was colder than it should have been. My breath fogged in the beam of my flashlight. I moved through the first floor quickly, not stopping to look in the classrooms. Just get it done, just finish. I was heading toward the exit when I passed the main office. The door was open. I'd never gone inside before. It wasn't part of my sweep, but something made me stop, made me look. There was a figure standing behind the reception desk. A little girl. She was maybe 7 or 8 years old, dark hair hanging in front of her face, wearing a dress that might have been blue once, but looked gray in the shadows. She stood perfectly still, her hands at her sides. My heart stopped. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. We stared at each other across that dark office, and the silence was so complete it felt like the whole world had stopped. Then she raised one hand slowly and pointed at me. Her mouth opened. No sound came out, but I could see her lips moving, forming the same words over and over. "Help me, help me, help me." I ran. I don't remember leaving the building, don't remember locking the doors or getting to my truck, but suddenly I was inside, engine running, tearing out of that parking lot like something was chasing me. I called my supervisor from the road, told him I couldn't do Roosevelt anymore. He argued. I quit on the spot.
I didn't go back, didn't drive past it, tried not to think about it. But a week later, curiosity got the better of me. I started researching the school online, found old news articles, yearbook photos, PTA meeting minutes, and then I found it. Local girl missing, 2008. Her name was Sophie Marsh, 8 years old. She'd been a student at Roosevelt Elementary. One day after school, she didn't get on the bus. Security footage showed her walking toward the gymnasium, but she was never seen again. The search went on for months. They checked the whole building, the neighborhood, everything. They never found her. The school closed the next year. I stared at her photo on the screen. Dark hair, small smile. She was wearing a blue dress. The same dress. I moved away from that town 2 years ago, got a different job, tried to forget. But last month, I got a message on Facebook from someone I didn't know. No profile picture. The message had no text, just a photo. It was taken inside Roosevelt Elementary, the hallway I used to walk down. And there, in the background, barely visible in the shadows, was a small figure. A girl in a blue dress. She was looking directly at the camera. I blocked the account, deleted the message, but I can still see it when I close my eyes. Sometimes I wonder if she's still there, in that dark building, waiting, looking for someone who will actually help her. And sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I wonder if she followed me home. Because last week, I woke up at 3 in the morning, and I could have sworn I saw a small shadow standing in my bedroom doorway. When I turned on the light, nothing was there. But on my window, in the condensation from my breath, someone had drawn a small handprint, too small to be mine. I don't sleep well anymore.